This is the account of the Albuquerque Ambulance Service. They were in the area and they heard an inquiry on the radio about a traffic accident at Lomas and Arno. Being in the area, they thought that they would come by to see if they could be of any help. They were not dispatched. As far as we can find, no rescue vehicle was dispatched. As they were driving, they were looking for an accident in the intersection. They saw no vehicles, they saw no police. They got to the intersection of Broadway, assumed that the accident had resolved itself, made a U-turn, and started to go back to sign off. As they got to this area of eastbound Lomas, they noticed the red car up against the pole. The lights were on, and the passenger of the ambulance, who was the medical tech, jumped out of the car, ran over here to take a look. When she looked in, she saw the injured girl. She called for the driver to turn around, and they came around, and they got out and began to tend the victim. There were no police, there were no persons. Their comment was that it was eerily dark and quiet. Within minutes, the fire rescue arrived. An ambulance, when the rescue is dispatched, it is dispatched with a fire truck and a rescue unit. The rescue unit gets here first. The fire truck takes longer because it's bigger and it goes slow. The timing of the Albuquerque fire rescue is important because that's how the people that lived in 820 Arno documented the time. They said it was 10 minutes before they heard the sirens. These fire department people were the only ones using the sirens. The ambulance didn't use their siren because they weren't dispatched. The police were not there. This was the only siren. These two people start attending the victim. They then say, at some point, police arrived. The rescue personnel were the ones who found the victim and began to treat her and in accompaniment with the ambulance people. One of the guys came around to the other side, saw the bullet hole in the car, and said, "That's a bullet hole." They then began to process the victim and felt the two defects in the victim's head. Then they knew they had more than a car accident, and they began to treat her more aggressively. One of the passengers in the fire rescue vehicle remembers seeing how he described it as an off-duty Bernalillo County Sheriff's Office officer standing around. And that is, we believe, Detective Merriman, because he was in plain clothes, but it also indicates that he did not identify himself and he did not take charge of the scene. Where Officer Wallace is, we don't know. She says her car was parked here, which would not necessarily be in plain sight, but that would be where she was, that would be where her car was. Where was she? So interviewing 8 people, 2 from Albuquerque Ambulance, 4 to 6 from Fire Rescue. None of them remembered seeing police or were directed by police at the scene.